This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Oh, fiddlesticks!
What, Wilbur?
We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What?
Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What?
Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Biggest rock festival in the Pacific Northwest returns to White's River Amphitheater. Pain in the Grass. 3 big days, Labor Day weekend. Join us Friday for Incubus Sublime with Rome. Saturday, Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, Bush, Aaron Jones, Walking Papers, and more. And then on Sunday, Sammy Hagar, George Thorogood, Queensryche. Every single one of those days, you could be a part of the Men's Room happy hour and a half.
Yeah, that's right.
You know that we can drink for 3 straight days, for 4 hours and a half at least.
Because that'll be the only time we drink.
We have determined
those will be the only drinks we have.
The entire time?
That's correct.
We're not doing any drugs?
Nope.
We're just going to drink for that hour and a half with you. Those ticket packages are on sale now, KISW.com. Hope to see you there. All right, question. When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
We're just having a discussion amongst ourselves about those times in the past when you're young, you're still unsure of yourself in spite of whatever woman was hitting on you is telegraphing everything she possibly can to let you know you like her, and you don't pick up on it. But now we can look back and realize that we were dummies. Well, someone here says, in high school, I was invited to a girl's house, sitting on the lake, and she had a friend over. They went skinny dipping. Ooh. I was too afraid to. Went home with no action. I regret it 19 years later. 19.
That's a tough one.
It will never escape you, man. You know, it's just, it happens. Hello, Greg. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, my day went terribly wrong first thing in the morning.
Perfect.
Maybe it started the night before, because this is not only a tale of woe, but one of a cautionary tale.
Okay. I feel like we're about to watch an after-school special.
Indeed. Pay attention, kids. The lesson is, don't take a bath on a hangover. Stick to a shower.
Okay. Why is this?
Feeling crummy, and I thought, a nice warm bath would feel good. So I slipped down into that warm bathtub, and my stomach was a little queasy, and, I had a little accident.
In the bathtub?
In the tub?
Wait, in the tub?
In the tub, man. Now, This is gross. Gross. I couldn't stand up. So I was like, I was so disgusted. I leaned towards the toilet to barf, missed the bowl, hit it, splashed all over the place. Disgusting. So I reached for the glass on the sink to rinse out my mouth, but it fell and it broke. So now I can't get out of the tub. There's broken glass on the floor. I'm sitting in my own filth, barf all over. I reached to pick up a piece of glass and I cut my finger. Now there's blood and barf. I'm sitting in filth. I cried out, "Oh my God, help me please." At that moment, the bathroom door opens up. My wife sticks her head in and she says, "I'm not cleaning that up." So, there you have it.
Good morning.
In the shower.
What did you drink?
Good morning.
What were you drinking the night before?
Yeah, what did you drink?
Tequila.
Tequila.
How long ago was this?
20 years.
I was going to say.
I was hoping you said a week.
I believe the tequila game has got a lot more tolerable as far as your morning hangovers go.
Well, they've improved the tequila,
Yes,
right? I mean, there is no doubt about it.
You can't drink the whole bottle, but
You know what, Greg? They might even advertise.
That was kind of the problem. I did.
They might even put on the bottles now, like, no longer likely to poop yourself in the bath.
I had one. I went to a happy hour for a couple of coworkers of a TGI Fridays. Sitting at the bar, I'm going to get one beer. I'm going to do one shot. I'm going to drive home. It's after work. I get the 22-ounce Bud Light or whatever the hell they got at TGI Fridays. I get a shot. They want to do Jose Cuervo. Do a shot of Jose Cuervo. Cuervo was not my normal drink. I was not a tequila guy. I was not a fan of gold. I think at that point in time, I was more on the tip of kind of Tawaka and just more of a liqueur fireball.
Sure.
Something a little bit easier than that. Anyway, I get on the Beltway. I start driving home. And all of a sudden, I get the mouth sweats. And I'm like, oh, no. And I'd had some nachos. I'd had a couple chicken wings. I'd ordered some appetizers. I'm like, oh, no. And I mean, the mouth sweats are coming on. And I just, all of a sudden, it just went boom.
Right.
All on the inside of the windshield. The inside of the windshield. Just covered in appetizers, nachos, beer, and tequila. It was so heavy that it started going down into my
the vents.
Into the vents.
Uh-huh.
This was not good. So I pull over on the side of the road. I don't have anything to clean off the inside of the window so I can see. I take my shirt off and I wipe the inside.
That is some hillbilly looks right there.
Oh, yeah. I wipe the inside of the glass, and I realize that it's all going down, like basically where you would use your whatever you're clearing the window, air, whatever that's called. It's going down in there. So now, okay, I got most of it cleaned up by the time I got home. Keep in mind, I was shirtless guy driving home. I don't know what you know about shirtless guy, but it's like if you're a shirtless guy,
you're comfortable with it.
It's back to like the non-seatbelt years.
Right.
It feels really weird to put a seatbelt on when you're a shirtless guy.
Yeah, but it does.
It's rare. I mean, it's got to be a sunny summer day to see shirtless
and
guy.
your air conditioner doesn't work. I mean, everything.
And so basically at this point in time, we're heading into the fall. We're heading into the colder months. So I start using my, whatever that is, the
defroster.
Defroster, that's what it is. Why can't I freaking think about that? And you could smell the tequila. You could smell the rot of the beer. It's almost like yeast and tequila and all this stuff.
And beef and chicken.
And the only way that, like, I had a carport at the time, so my car wasn't in a garage, so when it would freeze, you had to turn the heat on to get it defrosted.
Uh-huh.
And you just sit in your car, and it was like, oh, God. Oh, my God. It was the worst. And it never went away. It never dissipated.
Well, my wife, her old car, and this is right before we moved to Seattle. She knows she's going to move here with us, but she's going to spend a couple of months on the East because her sister's getting married, right? Mm-hmm. No problem. She has quit her job. She's working at the Washington Times at the time, and they have this massive-ass Christmas party. She's like, I got to go to this. I'm like, oh, I get it, man. You know, she's been working there however many years. Say goodbye to the coworkers. Well, her and a very good friend of hers who also worked there knows she's leaving, and they threw down as people do. And it was all red wine, and I'm not giving this much thought. And it was like some kind of chicken dish. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. The party ends. She's 15 sheets to the wind, so she's like, hey, can you drive home? Now, I'm pretty drunk, but I'm nowhere in the condition she is. So with one eye closed, I drove 40 miles to get back from D.C. to Baltimore, and she is passed out, which is good, right? There's a sign that says, welcome to Baltimore. You are now officially in the city limits, and maybe 200 yards. That's it. Down the road is a gas station, and I'm going to pull in there to get her water because she's starting to come to, and she starts doing I think I'm going to be sick. Well, because it's a Christmas party. This is December, man. It's like 19 degrees outside. So I'm trying to tell her, I said, man, open the window and puke out the window. But she just keeps repeating, I'm going to be sick. I said, okay, then hang on. I'm pulling into that gas station, which is now maybe 14 feet away. We're in a movie theater. We will be there in 1/8
I know.
of 1 second.
Why can't people hold it?
And she rolled
Nobody
down.
can.
This was a crank window, okay? So she did like one crank. So it opens about a quarter of an inch. And she just, bah! And I mean, it ricochets off the window. And all I remember, it's pure red with chicken bits. And this is already gross, all right? So I pull into the parking lot. I'm like, God damn, like you, So I get out, and there's this long-ass line at the gas station, and I just want paper towels. So I grab the paper towels. They're like $1.29 or something. And I keep looking at the car, so I tell the cashier, I said, man, I really need to get this. So I take a $5, and I just toss it to him. So just keep the change. I don't care, right? So I'm out there trying to clean up. Well, to the cashier's credit, cashier's credit, He came outside and was like, sir, you got $3 and some change. And then he looks at the car and he's like, oh. I said,
Yeah.
So I cleaned it up. We finally get to my place. And so now I got to get her into the shower. As I'm carrying her into the shower, she pukes on top of my bald head. And the thing about it I remember most, I could feel a piece of chicken like behind my ear.
Ear chicken.
But I have her, there's a piece of ear chicken. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm wearing nice clothes, man, because we went to this freaking Christmas party. But then I have to go out and clean the car. And it's the same thing where a bunch of it went to the vents.
And also,
which we discovered later.
The door well?
The goddamn pocket in the door, man. And it was up to like my palms. You dip your fingers in and it's just like... And I'm like, oh my God.
You can't get it out. I did
can't.
that the last time my dad was in town.
He puked in your car?
No, his girlfriend did.
In your those the hot dogs?
And I'm telling you, the same exact thing. Like,
they're too old for that.
I know, they're in the 60s, 70s.
But when you said, they did tequila and hot dogs.
Just give me 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. I'll pull off the side of the road. I'm literally 200 yards away from my house. I'm fine. I can't believe how messed up they are.
Right.
She just threw up all into the doorwell. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. It's like a pool of vomit. And there's hot dogs in it.
Somehow that makes it worse.
French fries floating.
Did you clean it up or did you make her clean it up?
Oh, she was not. She couldn't. She needed to be helped.
Right, you can either wait 24 hours for someone to sober.
I mean, I got sick once in high school, puking out a window on a car we owned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as I woke up, my mom was like, oh, you're going outside to clean it. And I was like, clean up what? And they're like, oh, wait. And I was like, no, I puked out the window. They're like, yeah, it's summertime. The other window was down. And it just,
Niles, you have a problem with family members who can almost make it to your house.
Mm-hmm.
You have...
So close.
You have a woman that puked in the car,
close.
hot dogs and all. You have someone else...
That's what I'm saying.
Who pooped on the side of your neighbor's house because they could not make
that was crazy.
8 more steps to get to your house?
When's the last time that you couldn't make it to the bathroom? One way or another. Like, I will pinch my mouth and throw up in my mouth 5 times and still make it to where I need to go for the most part now.
But, vomit's a little different than like
I'm talking all orifices, everything.
Right.
I mean, I for the most part, I have accidentally slipped on a fart, but that was not because I was trying to make it to the bathroom.
You just didn't know you had to go.
I just thought I misjudged, right? But I still could have made it to the bathroom had I known.
Have you had the moment, like when you have to pee real bad, and this happens to everybody, but the closer you get to the toilet, the more agonizing it becomes, right?
Absolutely.
So you are sprinting. But as I'm undoing my pants, like I'm starting to pee. And it's this thing where my goal is to get the underwear off of my penis before it starts spraying. And I mean, it is like it's like a MacGyver episode. Like the bomb has counted down to 1 second, and in that moment, you finally defuse it.
Because you know you're there. As soon as you walk in the front door, it's like, now it's coming on heavy.
But I still can make
it.
In the elevator, man. And I've had many conversations with different dudes, and we all admit to it. There are times you're on the elevator, and you are jumping up and down and running back and forth because you have to pee so bad. But then when the door opens, as far as everyone else can tell, you're standing there perfectly calm, and you go on a fast walk. But when you're in the elevator, you're just like, oh, my God. And literally, you're grabbing your penis and squeezing it so that it won't leak. That's one thing I admire about little kids. When they got to go.
They hold it.
You can tell.
But they have no shame in it. They grab their junk and just like, I got to go to the bathroom. You go like, obviously.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
It is amazing how you can get home sometimes. And it's like you could barely open your own toilet to drop a deuce. Yeah. But yet you could hold it the entire time.
Have you run into the house where you actually left your front door open? Like, I don't have time to even, seriously, I hope no one breaks into my home while I'm in the bathroom, but like, I don't have time to close this. Like, I've had to pee in my own sink because the bathroom was too far away from the front door. Seriously, like the kitchen, from the front door, the kitchen was there first. The bathroom was like another 10 feet. Like, I don't have 10 more feet in me, man. And you're standing over the kitchen sink like, yeah, I'm not going to tell anyone about this.
No.
Maybe I should have moved the dishes out of the way first. But when you got to go, you got to go. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, guys. So this is my story of my first date.
All right.
And I went out with this girl, really smoking hot Colombian. And the first date went well. I went to the Fremont Beer Festival over there. And so we agreed on a second date. And so when I showed up to the second date, well, beforehand, we were talking about dancing, and we were expected to go dancing on our second date. And so I was all dressed up, nice, looking hot as hell. And I
I show up, and we're at another place in Fremont, and when I ended up going inside with her, and there's full halls of people, and it ended up being like a cult type deal. Have you guys heard about the Landmark group in Fremont?
The what group?
The Landmark.
I am unfamiliar with the Landmark group.
So they base themselves in Fremont, and they are all about like self-empowerment and all that stuff.
Okay.
And when the whole time I was getting confused because I was like, there was no dancing, and they all started talking about how this group helped them so much. And after all of it, there was many people who were there too, brought by other people, and they were all confused as well. And we ended up like having to leave. I wanted to get out, but they were trying to block our way, saying, "Hey, how's it going? Want to join our group? It'll be like $600."
And how long did it take you to finally get out of there?
Oh, I finally, I just shot between people and looked at my bait and told her bye.
Did she want you to go there with her?
Yeah, she wanted me to go there with her.
Oh, so she Amway'd you.
Yeah, she tried to get me into the group.
All right.
Got to see if you have fun. Check it out.
Sure. Hey, yeah, I mean, it's really cool people. I think you'll like where they're at. Some people commenting on their bathroom failures. This one. I've never had this. I've gotten close to this. It's never happened. Says, man, this one time I was at this girl's house, going number one, peeing, standing up, and the biggest wall of poo came out ever. Well, I have to leave and go to work. I'm looking everywhere for things to clean it up. It was everywhere. So he's standing up peeing. That loosens the muscle and ends up rocketing a turd out of the backside.
I've never done that.
I have not done. I've gotten close.
No.
I've gotten close and just at the urinal, and you're like, oh. And then it's one of those moments, especially when other people in the bathroom, you kind of zip up your pants and head to a stall, and everyone knows exactly what has just happened.
Yeah, unless the stall's taken.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked anyone to hurry up?
No.
Hey, man, come on, dude, seriously.
Well, it's just like, I don't know that I have to go number two. I'm just afraid to pee.
Right, 'cause once you loosen that muscle, like it's all connected, man.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, guys, this happened back in the 70s, and we were partying on a Friday night. And happened to get out on the road to take a buddy home, and another buddy left with us. Just so happened I took some LSD with the buddy right before we left. So I'm driving down Martin Luther King Road. We decided we'd race each other. So we're flying down the road at about 80 miles an hour, and I see a cop, but I didn't really realize whether or not he saw us. Sure enough, about 8 blocks later, he pulls us over and says we were doing 100-plus miles an hour.
It's impossible. I'm high on acid.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm driving a 53 Chevrolet with a 6-cylinder in it. It won't go faster than 85. At any rate, so we're just starting to get a buzz on, and the Seattle police decided they'd take us downtown. So I spent the whole night with the buddy in the King County Jail high on LSD.
Do you think that made it better or worse?
I mean, if you're going to, yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I've been in jail.
The smell was worse.
It was
yeah.
Worse. Okay.
You know, I mean, the drunk tank is bad enough if you're drunk and you're smelling all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when your senses are super hyper.
See, I don't know, man. I'm torn. If they said, look, we got to throw you in the tank overnight, and you go like, all right, that sucks. But we're real forgiving cops. If you'd like a tab of acid, we cannot guarantee you're not
going to sleep.
I think I would take the hit.
Still going to be hard to sleep, no matter what.
I didn't sleep when I was there. You know what I mean? You just because you're amped up, you're angry, and you're not quite sure how this is going to play out. Like, is this more permanent than I think it is? Or
not here all weekend?
So I think I would rather trip.
I think it depends on what you're in.
What do you mean?
Like, yeah, because, I mean, jail sucks enough when you're just in, like, in a bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
But the chaos of going up to the tiers, like that was frightening enough. I can't imagine being on acid. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I can still hear screams.
Oh, Jesus, you can still hear screams when you're checking in?
Right, because when you go upstairs, like that's people that are in there, right? Now you're just kind of in county.
Right.
And they're just, I can still hear those two dudes laughing their butts off. You be all right, fat boy? Bail your fat ass out.
Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, except,
right.
They're using more colorful language.
Someone will bail your fat ass. Thanks.
He's scared as hell.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Talking about this yesterday in the office. 2 climbers were rescued after one fell 80 feet into a crevasse on Mount Rainier. That's a long way to fall. 2 were on the mountain on May 11th when they called 911 about 8:10 in the evening. Tell officials that bad weather forced them to stop climbing. They were at about 13,000 feet. 12,800 to be exact. They were on the Couts Glacier climbing route below Potwee Cleaver, I believe. I don't know. Either way, officials say the 2 did not ask for help. The next day at 7:30 in the morning, the party called again saying they were starting their descent. Then 3 hours later, the 2 called again when one climber said his partner had fallen into a large crevasse with arm and leg injuries. 2 climbers ended up being rescued by helicopter eventually on May the 13th. Yes, the Chinook helicopter, along with the Portland Rescue Squad, went to the mountain to help. Heavy and erratic winds forced them to wait several hours before returning to help the climbers. Both ended up getting flown off the mountain. I don't know if they threw a rope. Somehow they got 80 feet. Man. I'm afraid of heights. But to not know that you were on top of a potential huge fall.
Right.
So it's one thing to look over a balcony and go, whoa, I'm way up here on a bridge or whatever. But
it's another thing to step into an empty elevator shaft when the door's open.
Fall 80 feet. Right. No, thanks. When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
We were talking about unfortunate pooping experiences. A few people have contributed because it will ruin your day.
Oh, nice.
Says, what is it? I had to take my mother to the doctor, to a doctor's appointment. This is early during COVID, so I had to wait in the car. After a cup of coffee and a cigarette, I got the bubble guts bad. I couldn't go into the office, so I tried fighting it for half an hour. There was no stopping it. I had to go S in the bushes and use my boxers for TP, and then they had good times. Someone else says I had to poop at the Safeway restroom, which, no offense to Safeway, one of the most disgusting restrooms on earth. And it doesn't matter which location.
It doesn't matter what grocery store it is. Grocery store bathrooms are the strangest.
Which is weird because they're one of the cleanest places you go until you get to the bathroom, right? But it says I had to poop in the Safeway restroom. The moment I sat down to do the business, guy walks in, makes a huge... then walks out to complain to the Safeway employee who was outside the restroom and said I was pooping for 30 minutes. I yelled, "What the F?" out loud. I just got in here, you impatient bastard. Someone else. I used to be a delivery driver. Once at a dead stop of traffic on 520, I had to go in the back of the truck and poop into a bag that I put into a milk crate. It was an awful experience. Someone else, let's see. I had to poop so bad, I parked at the closet bathroom, which was a library. I ran into the bathroom. It only had one stall and one urinal. Well, the stall was taken, so I had no option but to S in the urinal. Oh, there's a move. Wait, then ask the guy in the stall for some toilet paper. Horrible moment in my life.
Damn.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK. That would be tough.
What would you have them do? Look, I would recommend the trash can over the urinal because at least you can cover it and kind of hide it. But it's
the urinal's terrible.
And then have to ask the dude for toilet paper. Hello, TJ. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
All right, fellas, put your chin straps on. You're going to love this one.
All right.
In the year 2000, I was accepted to officer school in the United States Air Force. I was 31 years old. I had no prior military experience. And so anyway, first day we're there. We had chow. Then we were in this big auditorium for a class, and then they gave us a couple minutes break to get some water or something. So I decided this was going to be a good time to go take one of my checks up to payroll, so I get my pay direct deposit. So I go up where I think payroll is, and it's so I go walk into this large office, bunch of cubicles, but I didn't see anybody. So I go bombing around, trying to find somebody. Came around the corner and walked in on an officers meeting. There was 11 commissioned officers having a meeting, and I'm just standing there with my mouth open.
And
we're talking everything. Go ahead.
What happens when you interrupt an officer meeting?
You're about to find out. So anyway, I'm just standing there, and we're all, there's that moment where we're just all looking at each other and nobody says nothing for it seems like an hour. And so basically what happened is that I had to do one set of what's called RPC, which stands for Remedial Physical Conditioning. That's a set of 20 push-ups. You come to attention. You say, will that be all, sir? And in my case, most of the time they said no, so I'd have to do 20 more. Total of 40. I had to do one of those for every officer that was there.
Oh, my God.
11 of them. So I make it through about the first 4, so that's about 160. And I finally couldn't just push myself off the ground anymore. They felt sorry for me, so they kicked me out. But so that pretty much marked me pretty well. I mean, I was walking around with a bullseye on my back like I was a Target spokesman. And so it got to the point where, word got around, to the other officers, that were already commissioned, and they would come find me. And if I was doing something wrong, which I usually was, they'd drop me down and do my thing. One day, we're walking to chow about 3 or 4 days later, and I see this captain just beelining it across the field, and I know who he's looking for. So he comes up, and so he drops me, so I'm doing my thing. One of his buddies comes up to me, and he goes, "Oh, what did you do this time?" He goes, "Oh, nothing. I've got to go to a meeting off base, and I was afraid I was going to miss him. This is just for general purpose." And so it got to the point where the guys in my flight, which is about 14 guys, they started making book on the over-under on how many push-ups I do a day. And, it usually ranged from 400 to 500. Just to let you know, my personal best, I did 700 one day.
Dude, you had to be jacked. You had to be
I was yoked.
I was going to say, seriously.
Just straight up yoked. And so, and a lot of times I'd hear these guys making these bets, and they go, "Hey, what's the over-under today? 450. Oh, yeah, give me the over. Give me the over." Never once did I hear anybody take the under.
Because they didn't want to lose.
No. I mean, it was the best bet, the best bet you could find. Take the over on see.
And all you did was accidentally walk in on a meeting, and you were just trying to figure out how to do direct deposit on your check?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But you end up getting swole.
Oh, I was swole is not the word. I mean, I didn't have a neck.
So what do you look like now? Has that turned to fat? Do you stay in shape or what?
I've actually slimmed down a little bit as I've gotten older. I'm down to about 250 now. But anyway, it was funny because, like I said, I mean, every single commissioned officer that was there knew who I was from day one. And they would always, I could see them. They go, "Was that him? Was that him? Oh, yeah, let's go get him." And they'd line up like one behind each other to the point where, okay, I do this guy's RPC, then the next guy step up like you're taking, you're getting some takeout or something. And it was just incredible. But yeah, I walked in on that meeting, and there was enough brass in that meeting to make a spittoon.
Did you ever, did you give warnings to other people as they're coming into the military? Like, look, do not walk into a commissioned officers meeting?
Well, see, my class had 200 people in it, and I was one of only 3 that had no prior military experience. All these guys, had been in, the Air Force for, however many years, and they were just working their way up the ranks. So I come in as a newbie, no idea. I mean, I couldn't march right. I couldn't make my rack right. I couldn't eat right. I did nothing right for like 2 months. And, I mean, like I said, it just got to the point where I would know it was coming.
I believe him.
I do too.
Bedroom colors, here are
And that's
the
a
7
fair
words
quote.
you can't say on the radio.
That sucks.
Sucker, mother,
God dang.
and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
I couldn't do that many push-ups. I mean, I would slowly get stronger, be able to do more, but that would take more than just a couple days to get there.
Yeah, but the problem with being in the military, like, there's not a whole lot of options today. It's not like your buddies go, come on, man, one more. They're like,
I can do 20, then you get up and I get attention. But then if you drop me down again, like 20 more, then, okay, man, I'm fried. You can't have, can't have a bunch of people in line just waiting to keep killing me, man.
Yeah, he said he was doing 700 in a day.
That was his personal best.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
One quick text here. I pooped in the urinal at Disneyland, but I was a kid. No regrets. All right.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I mean,
I don't even feel bad.
Did you wipe?
I'm sure he cleaned himself
He just
up.
walked in there.
I'm at the urinal. What you going to do, fool?
I've never seen one of these before.
Let's see, like, you walk in there and you go, hey, man, someone's pooping in the urinal. You got to take care of that. You walk in, and right, it's Mr. T. What you saying, that fool? Go tell me to stop.
I walked into a guy's bathroom before where a girl was doing that, but she was still going to the bathroom, and she was facing forward.
Wait,
so she was basically
pooping?
No, she was peeing, but she was kind of sitting up on the urinal, like all push forward with the legs spread. I was like, that is impressive.
The sprite is like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Hello, Jacob. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So this is back in about 2000 as well, when I was in the military. And my buddy and I was 20 years old. He was 19. And we went to Canada on the weekend to do some drinking since we couldn't do it around here. And we started out going to a liquor store and got Goldschlager and then 151.
Jeez.
And then we're paying quarters. And I didn't do so well. So I was already pretty buzzed before we even decided to even go to the bar. And had beers mixed with the hard alcohol, and it really put a toll on me to where they kicked me out because I couldn't even stand up no more. My buddy had to drive me back in my Blazer at the time, and those little consoles on the side doors there where you can put stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find the door handle to open the door to puke, and ended up puking in that. And then puked all over the dash and all over myself. And then we ended up getting back to the hotel room. Ended up passing out, but I ended up puking on the bed that I was sleeping on. So when I woke up in the morning, I was covered in it. It's just disgusting. And we went outside in the morning, and the maid was out there scooping up all of our puke that we puked. So she goes, you guys have a nice night? I mean, she knew it was us because we were out there to go clean my Blazer up, and that was the worst drive ever, coming back from Canada with that smell in the vehicle. And my buddy tried to put an air freshener in there, and that made it even worse.
I said that they had no chance, man.
At least coming back into the country, you don't have to deal with U.S. Customs. Oh, wait, you do.
Right.
It's so much easier to go into Canada than it is to come back.
It is.
It's unbelievable.
Man, well, at least it was your own vehicle. That and the maid was cool, man.
Yeah. I feel bad, though, because we used those hotel towels to get all that crap out of there. It's pretty nasty. So
I mean, the only reason I wouldn't feel as bad is I just feel like, for whatever, the hotels just kind of have that stuff happen.
They have the stuff happen.
Because people are on vacation or it's your first time. Like, you're in a different mood, generally.
Yeah, but for me, it's not so much the hotel, right? Like Sheridan can be like, listen, we deal with this all the time. Right, that's the person at the front desk. You don't deal with this.
Right.
That janitor over there or that maid who's giving me the stink eye and probably going to fart on my pillow after she makes my bed, she has to deal with it. And yes, she can know that this happens, but they're never happy to see, oh, they're having a great time. Look at the vomit everywhere.
I'm just saying, as opposed to, like, I don't know, crapping in a urinal. Right?
No
I'm
regrets.
just like, All right, you puked on the sheets in a hotel room. Like,
they'll ball them up, throw them out.
I took mine in a ball. Just it was covered in blood. Just threw them kind of underneath the sink and put a 20 on there and said, "My bad,
my bad,
my bad." Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, I did it once. It's not even that exciting, just with a bloody nose.
Oh, right, because it's all over. It's everywhere.
Right, but it's a hotel room, so it's pitch black. Those awesome curtains are closed. The air conditioning's on, and I didn't even realize. I'm just like, what is this? Then when I finally turned on the light, I'm like, it looked like I murdered somebody in the bed,
or like sledged their.
Exactly what I had too. I was like, oh my god.
When we were in Alaska, we went up there with Hair Club, and Hair Club's pretty punctual. He tells us to meet him in the lobby. This is the day we're leaving, right? So we're going to go to the airport, fly back to Seattle. And he's taking a little longer than we expected. Not a ton of time, say 10 minutes, but that's still unlike him. And when he gets down to the lobby, we're obviously sitting at the bar, and he looks a little flushed. We're like, what's up, man? He's like, listen, the maids were coming down the hallway, so they're cleaning the rooms. My room was next up to be clean, but he had poop real bad before we left, but then the toilet wouldn't flush. So he's like, there is just a mountain of S. And he's like, when I open my door to leave, the maid's standing there, man. And I know she's going to see this big pile of poop that I left there. Did he leave her like $50 or something like that?
I think he dropped a 20. I typically drop a 20.
I mean, he felt real bad. I said, man, why didn't you flush? He's like, I tried to flush the goddamn toilet. It wouldn't go down. Like, that is so awesome. I'm so glad that happened to you.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-WRONG.
Hello, Nick. Welcome to the men's room.
Yeah.
Hello, Nick. No, Nick.
My problem was it happened on the first night. I had to sleep in the blood for like 3 days because I didn't want to have to call, or 2 nights because I didn't want to call the front desk and say, like, can you come clean this up for me?
Why didn't you just, you can ask for sheets. Actually,
I didn't want to do that.
No, I mean, you go up to the front. Actually, my wife, when we were in Baltimore, right, we're staying at this hotel, we're staying with the kids, no big deal. She's in the bathroom and goes, hey, do me a solid. Can you run down to the front desk and ask for toilet paper to be delivered to our room? I'm like, you got it. And she's just going to ride the toilet until I'm done. So I walk down to the front desk. First of all, there's no one there for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, God, right? So this woman finally walks up. What can I do for you? And I said, hey, can you do me a favor? We just need toilet paper up in room, blah, blah, blah. So it's fairly anonymous. Well, there's a dude who's trying to be nice, and he's about to leave for the day, all right? Their shifts are changing. So as I walk back to the elevator, keep in mind, they're going to bring the toilet paper up, is the idea. When I get to the elevator, he's like, hey, my man. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, did you need toilet paper? And there's people in the lobby. I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, hang on, bro, hang on. Grabs these keys, opens his closet, hands me like 6 rolls. So now it looks like I'm holding in a poop. You know what I mean? And you can see the look on everyone's face. And I want to be like, it's not me. It's for my wife. But it was so humiliating. And then when the elevator doors open, there's this family that's leaving. And you just see all of them look at me, who's obviously a guest, not an employee, just holding all this toilet paper. And I'm like, I can't explain why this feels so humiliating, but like,
we got a real problem. We got a real problem on the 12th floor.
Yeah, I'm just like, God damn it, man.
Dude, it's embarrassing to have to order more toilet paper at a hotel room. I've done it when I've been by myself.
Yeah, like, hey, sir, you just checked in 3 hours ago. Yeah.
Ryan Castle on the way. We will sit and spin. We've got 10 artists who are guilty of plagiarism. You are listening to Men's Room.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are. $20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.